Hey Titans, it's Mr. Spilker here, and I am going to take you through Chapter 3, Section 4 today. Chapter 3, Section 4 is entitled Multi-Step Equations. Multi-Step Equations. So go ahead and put the heading down in your notes. Chapter 3, Section 4, Multi-Step Equations. And we're going to be solving the type of equations that have variables on both sides. So go ahead and get that appropriate heading on your notes, and we'll dive into the material. Alright, our teaser question today is, Mateo is the office manager at a small company, and he regularly orders office supplies. Two different suppliers offer the same box of pens at the same price per box. However, supplier A will give a $2 discount on 4 boxes of pens, and that for the same total cost as supplier A. Supplier B will sell 3 boxes of pens and charge $4 shipping. Find the price of a single box of pens. Alright, hopefully put a little bit of thought into that teaser question. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about how to solve with variables on both sides. And the key teaching point we want to make here is that you need to get the variables on the same side. If you have variables on the left side of the equal sign and variables on the right side of the equal sign, you need to get them on the same side. The easiest way to do this is with the change sides, change signs approach. This is the same thing as adding and subtracting your variable term to get them on the same side. Let's go ahead and get into an example, and I think you'll understand this as we do a couple practice problems. Alright, here's example number 1. This would be good to put into your notes. You need to put this in your notes. Example 1. We're going to solve 6n plus 17 equals 5 plus 4n. Now, to solve this, you can see we have variables on both sides. We got the 6n on the left and the 4n on the right. We want to get those two terms on the same side. It doesn't matter what side. You can move your variable terms to the left, or you can move your variable terms to the right. It really does not matter which side. In this case, I'm going to choose to put my variables, my n's, on the left side. And when I put my n's on the left side, that's going to end up leaving the numbers on the right side. So my first step is going to be to take this 4n and move it over. Now it's a plus 4n, so what I'm going to do to both sides is subtract 4n. So I take the 4n, I subtract it from each side. On the right side, the 4n minus 4n's cancel out. And on the left side, I now have like terms. 6n minus 4n can combine to make 2n. So now I have 2n plus 17 is equal to 5. Now, if you notice, that looks familiar. That's a two-step equation, and we just talked about how to solve two-step equations yesterday and today in class. So to solve this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go ahead and just solve it like I would any two-step equation. My goal is to isolate my variable, so I'm going to subtract 17 from each side. That's going to leave me with 2n equals negative 12. Then to get n by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and that leaves me with a final solution of negative 6. Now, the nice thing about equations is you can always check them. We just found out that our answer is a negative 6, and we hope we are correct. But we do not have to wait for our teacher to tell us if our answer is right or wrong. We can check these ourselves. All you do is you take your variable value, and that's negative 6, and you plug it in for n. So we would have 6 times negative 6 plus 17 equals 5 plus 4 times negative 6. Once again, I took the original problem, and I plugged in negative 6 for n. Now, if my answer is correct, when I simplify the left side by following PEMDAS, and I simplify the right side by following PEMDAS, the left side and the right side should equal each other. If they do, my answer is correct. So if I go through the process, 6 times negative 6 is negative 36, plus 17 is negative 19. And on the right side, 4 times negative 6 is negative 24, plus 5 is negative 19. So since the left side equals the right side, my answer checks, and I am correct. So my final answer is n equals negative 6. Alright, Titans, example number 2. Example number 2. We have 5x minus 6 equals 2x plus 9. Once again, put this into your notes. Good example to have down in your notes. 5x minus 6 equals 2x plus 9. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how I like to solve these. One thing I like to do is always draw a line underneath the equal sign. And the reason I like to draw that line underneath the equal sign is because it shows to me that we have two sides of the equation, the left side and the right side. Now my goal is to get the 2x over there with the 5x, or I could take the 5x and move it over to 2x. In this case, I'm going to choose to put my x's on the left side. Once again, it doesn't matter what side you put them on. So I'm going to take that 2x. I'm going to say, 2x, you need to move. You need to get out of there. You need to go over there and hang out with 5x. You guys are buddies. So we take 2x and we move it over to the left side. Now, when 2x changes sides, guess what it does? It changes signs. So I took the 2x and I moved it. I always tell students they're like a bouncer. Okay, they're in charge of crowd control. They got to get the x's on one side, they got to get the numbers on the other side. So 5x minus 2x is 3x. I still have that minus 6, and that's equal to 9. So as you can see, I have a two-step equation remaining. So I'm going to go ahead and solve that by adding 6 to both sides. That leaves me with 3x is equal to 15. Then I divide both sides by 3. And my answer is x equals 5. So what I did there was I used the change sides, change signs approach. I know I wanted 2x to be over there on the left side, so I just simply moved it. When it changed sides, it changed signs. So my final answer is 5. Now, is my answer correct? Well, what is 5 times 5 minus 6? Well, that would be 25 minus 6, which is 19. And then on the right side there, I'd have 2 times 5 plus 9. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 9 is 19. My two sides equal each other, so my answer checks. So x equals 5 is correct. Once again, the key teaching point here, ladies and gentlemen, get the variable on the same side. Alright, final example of the teaching video. Put this into your notes. Put this into your notes. Now this third example here I have for you today is a little bit different. It involves division. We have w divided by 2 plus 7 equals w divided by 3 plus 9. Now if we were to translate that, w is the same as 1w. So this could also be rewritten as 1/2 w plus 7 equals 1/3 w plus 9. Now when I write that, a lot of you guys are thinking, yuck, fractions. That's no fun. Well, we have an easier way for you to do this problem where you don't have to do a lot of fraction work. And that is my key teaching point, which I have at the bottom of the screen here. And that is multiply everything by the LCD. So if I were to look at this problem, I would see that in my denominators I have 2 on the left side and 3 on the right side. The least common denominator then would be 6. So what I do is I multiply both sides by 6. Remember, you can do anything you want to an equation as long as you do it to both sides. So when I multiply the left side by 6, 6 times w over 2 would be the same as 6 times 1/2 w, and 6 times 1/2 is 3. So I'd have 3w plus, and then remember I got to take 6 times 7 also to get 42. And then on the right side, 6 times 1/3 w, well 6 times 1/3 is 2, so I'd have 2w plus 6 times 9 is 54. Now that looks a little easier to solve, doesn't it? Once again, if you run into these ones with the fractions, just simply multiply everything by the least common denominator. That will rid your problem of fractions. Now I can go ahead and take the 2w and move it over here, change sides, change signs. Or in other words, subtract 2w from each side. Then I would be left with 1w plus 42 is equal to 54. I would subtract 42 from each side. So 1w is equal to 12, and then divide by 1, which just gives me that same number, 12. So students, if you run into these fraction problems, just multiply everything by the LCD. Alright, if we go back to our teaser question, that word problem would translate to be 4x minus 2 equals 3x plus 4. So to solve that question with the price per pen, I would move the 3x over. And that would leave me with 1x minus 2 is equal to 4. Then I would add 2 to each side. 1x is equal to 6. Divide by 1, which obviously will just leave me with my same result of 6. So it would be $6 per box. That's the teaser question. Alright students, hopefully this video helped. If you'd fill out the Google form below, I'd appreciate it. Give us a little feedback on what you understood and what you did not understand. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay classy, Titans.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.